Hi everyone. So today we'll be talking about percents. Okay. So what does percent mean? Okay. Percent means per hundred. It means per hundred. Okay. Now what does this mean? So percentage is always represented by this percentage sign. Okay. So if we have, let's say, 25%, okay. So this is already represented in percent. Okay, so it's per hundred. So but now how do we deduce it into other forms? It's 25 by 100 because it's 25 per 100 makes it 25%. So it's very important to understand what percentage means to be able to understand it further. Okay, now let's take it to the next step. Okay, so you might have heard of things like there's a 50% discount or there's a 10% sale, things like that. Okay, so whenever we say of something, okay, so if I say 40% of 25, okay, if I say this, so what does this of signify? Okay, this of signifies multiplication. Okay, so 40%, we know percent is can be represented as 40 by 100, and then of represents multiplication and then 25. So this is how we read it. 40% of 25 is 40 by 100 into 25. Now, how can we solve it? One way is we find the common divisors. So 25 can divide 100. So 25 into 1 is 25, and then 25 into 4 is 100. Okay, and then 4 divides 40. So we can say 4 into 10 is 40. Okay, so we get 10 as the answer. Now let's try to look at another example. So if I say 25% of 12, for example. So how can we write it? We write it as 25 by 100 into 12. Okay. So now 25 into 4 is 100. So we can, 25 is a common divisor. So we cancel it and we get 4, and then 4 and 12 have a common factor, that is 4. So 4 ones are 4 and 4 threes are 12. So we should have a common divisor between numerator and denominator. So whenever we are multiplying, that is also part of the numerator. If you want to look at it further, if you want to understand it further, please check out my other videos where we've studied about multiplication of decimals and fractions and percentages. Okay, so now here in this case the answer is 3. Okay, so we can also understand it in another way. So when we have 25 by 100 into 12, so it's getting divided in the numerator itself. So to make an equivalent fraction, what we do is whatever function we perform in the numerator, we perform in the denominator. So if we divide both of them by 25, okay, so 25 and 25 get cancelled, so we are only left with 12, and 100 divided by 25 we get 4. Okay, and now 12 and 4 further we divided by 3, sorry, we divided by 4, and 4 into 3 is 12 and 4 into 1 is 4. So we get the answer as 3. So basically when we are dividing it, we are changing it into smallest, simplest form by finding the common divisors. So I hope this is clear. So this is one way to do it. Let's look at another way to understand it. So whenever we are studying fractions, decimals, and percents, they all go hand in hand. So it's very important to understand each one of them to be able to understand the other. Okay, so now we have 15% of 20. So one way we looked at is we write it 15 by 100 into 20. Okay, we do this here as well into 20. So the other way is we can write this fraction as a decimal. So now what is the rule of dividing by 100 by powers of 10? Because there are two zeros and always in the whole number the decimal is at the end. Okay, so if we are dividing by 100, the decimal moves two places to the left. So we change it into a decimal. So this becomes 0.15 into 20. So now this becomes a normal decimal multiplication problem. So we've done a lot of examples of that in our other videos. Whenever we are multiplying, we forget about the decimal and we multiply it directly. Okay, so 15. So we get 0 and 0, and then 2 into 5 is 10, and 2 ones are 2 plus 1, 3. So we get 300. And then once we do the normal multiplication, we see how many numbers we had after the decimals. We had 1 and 2. So we put a decimal here. And the zeros trailing after the decimals don't make a difference to the value. So we get the value as 3. Okay. So this is one other way to solve similar problems. Let's look at another example. So if we have 30% of, say, 90. So we write it as 30 by 100 into 90. Now 30 by 100, if we want to change it into a decimal form, we are dividing by 100 again. The decimal is here. We move it two places to the left. We get 0.3 into 90. So we forget about the decimal. We perform normal multiplication. 90 into 3, we get 270, and we place a decimal after one digit. Okay, so because if there are only trailing zeros after the decimal, they don't make a difference in the value. So we can also write the final answer is 27. Let's look at one last example. So suppose we have 10% of 27. So we can write 10 by 100 into 27. So if we try to convert it into a decimal form, we get 0.1 into 27. So now 27 into 1 is 27, but also we have decimal after one digit. So we get 2.7. So I hope this is clear. If you have any questions, please write down in the comments below. And thanks for watching. See you in the next video.